Hey, what's up guys, John here. 43% of American small businesses were unable to pay their rent in full in April. Think about this. 44% of the US economy, our entire GDP, almost half of our GDP comes from small businesses, and 43% can't pay their rent. Why? What's happening? What's about to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you, because this was a great setup from day one to rug pull American small business. Remember in 2021, 2022, they said, and the entire media said, the Great Resignation. They made this up. You deserve more.
2021 has been the year of the Great Resignation.
Some are calling it the Big Quit.
Millions of Americans are leaving their jobs.
How there can be so many open jobs when nearly every employer seems to be offering better pay, benefits, and even signing bonuses.
You got to get more money because inflation is, it's through the roof, and your boss is greedy. He's taking advantage of you. You got to make more money. And the only way to do that is to demand a raise, and if he's not going to give it to you, jump ship. Go work somewhere else. And, to the employees' point, the cost of living skyrocketed. They had to make more money. They had to make more to be able to survive. And that's when these large corporations came out with this perfect plan for them to rug pull small business and with it, the U.S. economy. Now look at this. You got Chipotle coming out in 2021 saying, look, we'll pay you $100,000 a year to make burritos and bowls. It'll be a 3-year plan.
Chipotle is bumping up its average hourly wage. Pay could go as high as $18 an hour.
Employees could be promoted to general manager within 3.5 years. That position has an average compensation of about $100,000.
Don't worry, we'll get you there. $100,000 a year as a manager, right? You had UPS saying $100,000. Forget that. We'll pay you $170,000 a year. Drive for us, UPS. And Amazon's like, $170, come on, please, that's ridiculous. We'll go from $160, we'll pay $350,000 a year. And then small businesses like, hey, we could pay $14 an hour. And the other one's like, no, we'll pay $14.50. What's happened over the last couple of years has been this great push to push down small business. I mean, you saw this in 2020. All the money was flowing to large corporations. A lot of the small businesses were closed. But large corporations, they were raking in money hand over fist. They were even building out their own supply chains to offset all the disruption. Well, what if I were to tell you there's something really big that's about to unfold? Well, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to give you the facts and help you and position you for what I believe is going to be a pretty different world going forward. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content. Just get more people about what's really going on in the U.S. economy. If you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow, for Monday. Take a look at this. So right now, interest rates for small business, look at that. Unreal. 16.5% for $25,000 or less. 15.5% for 25 to 50K. 14.5 for 50 to for 250, and then over 250, 13.5. Now, these are the rates in which they'll advertise to small business. But when small businesses actually apply for these loans, this is going to be for the perfect small business that really doesn't need the money, that has exceptional credit, very little debt. It's just a perfect business. And that's not most small businesses. Guaranteed, most small businesses are going to apply and see a different rate than what's advertised here. I mean, look at this. So it's very fascinating because they switched this situation from the Great Resignation to, you know what, we're going to force wages up. We're going to combat inequality. We're going to take matters into our own hands. For the people. We need to protect the people. Well, California, $20 minimum fast food wage pushed 10,000 people out of a job. 10,000 people out of a job came out one day ago. This is Microsoft, right? Wendy's like, you know what? We'll do dynamic pricing with surge pricing. So, when you want to go get that Baconator, it might be twice the price because it's surge pricing, right? Chipotle, Starbucks, and more raised prices by as much as 7-8% in California. Well, what's going to happen is we're going to see small businesses, unfortunately, start to fold in a very big way over the next couple of years. And as they begin to fold, these offers, these large corporate offers that are 6-figure paydays, they're going to start to go away as well. And not by a little bit. by a very, very, very large portion. And what they're going to do is they're not going to hire Americans for $200,000 a year when they can exercise things like the WOTC tax credit, where they can hire migrants and save $1,200 to $9,600 per year per employee. And they're coming with no student loan debt. They're coming with no auto loan debt. They're coming with no mortgage debt or credit card debt. They're walking into a scenario where they can afford to work for less, right? Americans, not as much, right? And so with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, this actually will help combat inequality and inequity, as they would say. And so you start to look at this and you're like, all right, well, how's this all going to work? Well, you have fast food chains find a way around $20 minimum wage, and then you have your fast food is already automated, right? The Atlantic. Well, what's going to happen is, I believe, I'm going to show you this video too, because this is absolutely crazy. I believe what's going to happen is as Americans start to get squeezed, food quality is going to greatly fall in America. Because if Americans can't afford top tier food, well, they're going to have to reduce quality. And they're going to do whatever they have to do to still be profitable. And as small businesses start to fold and large corporations get bigger, they're going to be able to kind of play with the American people, right? And so, look at this, for example. This is Germany. German citizens, so they came out with an app to be able to detect if any of these are actually in there. And this video got 415,000 views in like 2 hours. I'm going to see what it's at now. In 415,000 views in 2 hours, now it's at 556,000. Look at this. Scan the food, and it'll tell you if it's already in your food. And it might sound kind of like far-fetched, like, oh, come on, John, this is not happening. You know what, that was just like some crazy talk a couple years ago. It's not actually happening. It's happening. I promise you, it's happening. It's on Tyson's website right here, TysonFoods.com. They're saying that they announced a partnership with Protex for more sustainable protein production, right? And so when you look at this scenario that's unfolding, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting to say the very, very least, that Americans before were very, very happy. They're working with small business. It was a great situation. Then this entire dynamic shifted to where now large corporations are the ones that are there to, steer the ship for America. And I promise you, over the next year, the next 2 years, these large corporations are going to be doing two things in a very, very aggressive manner. One, hiring a lot of migrants, a lot of people from different countries. Two, is investing heavily in automation, trying to find ways in which they can automate the process, make sure that there's no leakage, make sure that they can bring down their costs to the lowest price point possible to ensure that small businesses can't compete. And then three, use all that cash and liquidity to buy up hard real assets, infrastructure, industrial real estate, residential real estate, multifamily, commercial properties that are, going in foreclosure across the country, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Miami, all these areas that are going to start seeing higher vacancies and higher interest rates and insurance premiums equate to a big opportunity for large corporations. So mark my words, the next couple of years, it's going to be the great wealth transfer. There's no way around this. Great wealth transfer, and they're going to be living. When I say the top 5% are going to be living at a higher standard than they've ever lived before, and the bottom 95% are going to go back 100 years or even worse than that, right? Everything is going to start to erode, from health care to food quality to living standards to, everything. Everything's going to be going through a big change. And so, look at this. They said inflation's your fault, right? So remember, you know who the target is. So make sure you put yourself in a really, really good spot, a really, really good business, or work for a really, really good business, one that will stand the test of time, a business that will, take care of you and protect you. My grandmother worked for a box factory many, many, many years ago before she passed away. And before that business closed down, they basically cut everybody's retirement, everybody, except for hers. And they closed down bankruptcy, and they cut everybody's retirement except for hers because she was there and helped grow that business, and she had a really, really good relationship with that boss and really, really took care of her job plus a lot of other people's jobs, right? And I believe it's going to be those employees that are going to be the ones that are taken care of, that they're in the right industry and they're really going above and beyond, and they're really doing a lot of good for that company. And they're going to, I think, they're going to try to make room for you, regardless of what cost cuts they have to do. And if they can make it, they're going to make it, and they're going to try to bring their best people with them. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're going to see large corporations like Chipotle, UPS, Amazon, all these companies just move heavily into AI over the next year or two, and they're going to find ways in which they can slash prices to offset what they want to do, which is going to be massive domination. And they're going to try to grow in a very, very, very aggressive manner, and they're going to do it by any means necessary. That's what I'm betting on. Without doubt, that's what I'm betting on. It's unfortunate. I made a bet 2 years ago saying that what I think is going to happen in the U.S. economy is we're going to see, and this is before interest rates really started rising, so we're going to see interest rates skyrocket, we're going to see debt loads skyrocket, we're going to see inflation get worse, and credit scores are going to become even more important. In 2020 and 2021, I was not thinking about credit scores or anything like that, because back then, even if you had bad credit, you were still getting an awesome loan. You were still getting a very low interest rate loan. My bet was the opposite was going to be, and that was going to be exactly what I just said. Plus, banks are going to tighten up heavily on lending standards because they're going to see the writing on the wall with small businesses. They're going to see the writing on the wall with American consumers, and they're going to realize that Americans might not be able to pay this money back, and so they're only going to want to lend to the top tier best borrowers on paper, ones with great credit that just look really strong. So if you are thinking about investing, you're thinking about getting a business loan, or you're thinking about making a big investment to try to build out a mode of safety and security for yourself and your family, make sure your credit score is in line with your goals. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any issue at all in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, and schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow, for Monday. I'll catch you next video.